Hi, this is Vipul from the University of Quebec, and today I'm going to present to you my final project. My instructor name is Charles Basilwich, and here we are going to talk about the threats and vulnerability a company faces and how some of the methods how you can mitigate the risk, transfer, or accept the risk. So, my company name is Doponope. Doponope is your innovation partner anywhere around the world, a public company since 2018. The company builds on the proven track record of innovation by providing novel IT solutions to bring results in a greater quality of life for the people, communities, and societies all around the world. Doponoke provides security services to vendors and clients that are like Active Directory services, firewall services. The key members of our company are Vipul Dua, who's the CEO, Charles Brown, who's the HR director, Michaela Stewart, who's the finance manager, and Charlie Smith, who's the IT director of the company. Departments are human resources, security, information technology, and finance. Clients we serve at the moment are Viacom, Hilton, and Dignity Health. So here I have shown you a brief structure of our organization. Headquarters, we have CEO, human resources, IT, finance, and they are all connected to the data center of the company. Here are the assets, software assets placement. So we have Jira, Confluence, Office 365, and PRTG monitoring system. And these lines significant placement of the software. So here we have the headquarters as well as our clients, and I have depicted everything by a packet tracer. We have three servers at the moment, one for departments, customers, and the senior management. The services we provide are Active Directory services, cloud services, and firewall services. We have four policies at the moment for our company. The first is password policy, remote access policy, change management policy, and data protection and privacy policy. The software assets are Office 365, Confluence, Jira, Passler, PRTG. Physical assets at the moment are Cisco integrated routers, Cisco switch, Dell Inspiron laptops, PowerEdge rack server. PCs are Dell Optiplex 790, HP color printer, and Avtec for temperature monitoring for the data center. People assets are HR manager and the employees of the company. So here I have depicted the severity of through CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Here I have rated every asset according to CIA. Over here I talked about the threats our company may face, classification of the threat itself, the threat description, threat likelihood, and threat exposure. There can be a lot of threats that are not mentioned depending on the assets. Threat modeling tool for I have used Microsoft threat modeling tool to make a structure of our company headquarters. And this model depicts the threat model of our headquarters. And this is for the client's end. So it gives you a report that includes all the threats and vulnerability according to Stride. Here I have given all the vulnerabilities of our company, the vulnerability description, the severity of the vulnerability, the existing safeguards we have at the moment, and the rating of the safeguard at the moment in our company. Here I have given the quantitative assessment, which is I have given the exposure factor of the asset, the annual rate of occurrence, cost impact, like how much we are going to lose, and the annual loss expectancy according to occurrence. So we have like five. I took a decision to mitigate five of my risk asset through asset risk, and I took two of them I transferred, and one of them I accepted. So the first one is Jira. I took a decision to mitigate the risk. Threat is disclosure of password or credentials. Vulnerability, default password not changed. Control family, technical, administrative. Control type, preventive. Exposure factor is 40% at the moment. Annual rate of occurrence is twice. Recommendation, password protected by the system and can be changed or modified by the admin. Regular backup taken by the system. Password protection policy has already been developed and will be implemented. Countermeasure cost is going to be 2800 and residual risk rating is low. Cisco router. So the threat at the moment is unauthorized physical access, inadequate control of physical access. That's the vulnerability. Control family, physical, administrative. Control type is preventive. Exposure factor 30%. Annual rate of occurrence twice. Recommendation: before entering the room, the employee should sign and fill in the details in the register provided by the security guard. The access card should be scanned before entering the room. Access control policy are not created at the moment, but we will for sure create some in future. The total cost, countermeasure cost, it's going to be around 4700 and the residual risk rating is going to be low. Cisco switch. Threat at the moment is error in maintenance. Vulnerability is inadequate maintenance. Control family, it's technical, and technical. Control type, preventive. Exposure factor at the moment is 60% and annual rate of occurrence is twice. Recommendation, we should keep spare devices, 2 to 3 spare devices as a backup. Surge protectors should be installed in case there is a surge or depletion of power to avoid loss of data and avoid malfunctioning of the equipment. Proper maintenance of the assets and regular monitoring. Total cost is going to be 9,000 and residual risk rating is going to be very low. HR manager, I took a decision to mitigate the risk. Threat is industrial espionage. Vulnerability, too much power in one person's hand. Technical, control family is technical, administrative, and administrative. Control type, preventive. Exposure factor is at the moment very high, that's 100%. Annual rate of occurrence is once. Recommendation would be the password changed more frequently. Devices should be different and should be set up for monitoring purposes. Change management policy should be implemented, which we have already created. And the total cost is going to be around 4100. The residual risk rating is low. Employees, the threat would be compromising confidential information, vulnerability, uncontrolled use of information system, control family, physical, technical, administrative. Control type, preventive, exposure 50%, annual rate of occurrence once. Recommendation would be access card should be scanned before entering the building or the department. Segregation of department is implemented that no department can view the data of other department. Data protection and privacy policy already created, and the employees have insurance policies that have been covered, that has been purchased to cover any sort of loss. Total is going to be 7800 and residual risk rating is low. Passler PRTG network monitoring system. Threat is going to be malfunctioning of equipments, vulnerability inadequate replacement of older equipments or software. There is no update. Control family, technical, administrative. Control type, preventive, detective. Exposure factor, 5%. Annual rate of occurrence, once. Recommendation would be monitoring is required to monitor the temperature of the server room. Manual device is already set up for temperature control. Temperature control policy should be created as there is no documented policy at the moment in the company. Total cost is going to be 4200 and the residual risk rating is medium. PowerEdge rack server. I took a decision to transfer the risk. The threat is fire. Vulnerability is equipment sensitivity to moisture and containments. Physical control family is physical, administrative. Control type is preventive and detective. Exposure factor is 40%. Annual rate of occurrence is twice. Recommendation is fire extinguishers are installed on common areas. Fire suppression system installed like sprinklers. Training for the staff to handle fire situation and handling the extinguishers. Total cost is going to be 99,000 and the residual risk rating is low. HP color printer, error in maintenance, that's threat. Vulnerability, inadequate maintenance. Control family, technical. Administrative. Control type, preventive. Exposure factor, 40%. Annual rate of occurrence, 4 times. Recommendation, hire a vendor for quarterly maintenance of the devices. Printer ink and paper should be in stock as a backup. The cost is going to be 1200. Residual risk rating is low. Thank you so much for hearing me out and have a great day ahead.